Yay, rah. Oh, we don't want that to fall. Okay, let's skip ahead here. You guys brought your own notes. Here we go. Good evening. My name is Karen Maurer, and I appreciate you all being here. Please be reassured that the support you are giving those of us that are speaking, we will return the favor and support you. When we are children, people often ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? A teacher, a mom, an artist? For me, ever since I was in high school, it was always to be a financial advisor. You see, we set ourselves on a path to become that person, and when we are young, we assume that that path is linear. It's going to take us right where we want to go if we just do step A, B, C, and D. But you know what? The joke's on all of us, right? We all in this room know that our life path is not linear. It doesn't exist. We have learned that there are many detours in our life, dozens of disruptors. Our nice, smooth, linear path actually looks like this, doesn't it? Bruce Feiler, who is the author of my current favorite book called Life is in the Transitions, talks about these disruptors. They actually happen 1 out of every 12 to 18 months in our life. And 1 out of every 10, he actually calls a life quake. A life quake can be identified as any major shift. It's a change in a relationship, a change in a career, a diagnosed illness, a change in location, a death of a loved one. It can be anything that massively shifts that linear life plan you thought you were on. These life quakes are massive changes to that otherwise smooth life plan. They can cause us to get stuck for years, feet in the quicksand stuck. But they can also become an opportunity for growth. We can actually transition through these life quakes to a better place and become a better version of ourselves. It shocked me to read that the average length of these transitions lasts about 5 years. That means most of us will spend half of our life in some state of transition, transitioning jobs, transitioning a relationship, transitioning through an illness, relocating. Have any of you ever been through any of those things? I'm guessing that by this stage of your life, you've probably been through 1 or 2, if not more. The worst of it is they also can overlap. So I, like Bruce, became incredibly curious, also through this project with G.R.I.T, of how do people survive through these life quakes, these more significant transitions in their life. And some people do it really well, some do it not so well, and some sadly don't do it at all. They get stuck and stuck for a very long period of time. As you listen to all these incredibly women and the women of the second shift, and we read the stories in all 6 of the G.R.I.T books, you may ask yourself the same thing that we ask ourselves as authors. How in the world did she do it? How did she put one foot in front of the other to get through that horrifically significant event? How did she get her feet out of the quicksand? And for many of us, how did she come out better on the other side? Well, I lean on Bruce Feiler. After his research of many, many years and many, many studies of people moving through these transitions, he found a commonality that most of these people move through a transition possess 7 different skills. And I believe these are all skills that we all have, but many of us are not courageous enough to utilize those skills, recognize them, and oftentimes we forget that they're there. So I'm going to share a little bit of the story that I have in my chapter, and I'm going to show you what I didn't even realize was me using some of these life skills. And hopefully it will help you for the next time you move through some type of earthquake, lifequake. Remember that those skills are there and they can help you transition and help you come out better on the other side. So you see, I was under the grand illusion that my career and personal life was perfect. I was on the path to become a financial advisor at a very prestigious firm in St. Louis. It was my dream come true. I was happily married to my college sweetheart. I had 2 beautiful children who are here this evening. I had a lovely home, and the trajectory could go nowhere but up. And then, the day after I returned from maternity leave with my son, who's now 26, I walked in the door, and the person and the job that I was supposed to have, there was somebody else sitting in that seat. I was overlooked for the position I was promised. Bam, major earthquake. At about the same time, my then husband very calmly took me aside one day and told me that he was gay. What? Are you kidding me? This had never happened to anyone I knew, and it was beyond my wildest imagination. What do? The earth was shaking around me. It was rocking and rolling, and I had nothing to hold on to. Do I curl up in a fetal position, lay on the bottom of my closet floor, and just let the world rock around me? I couldn't do that. I had these beautiful 4- and 2-year-old children that needed me, and what I very quickly realized was I needed them. So I stepped into action. Then I started thinking about the job. What do I do about the job? Do I just up and quit? Do I start a new career? I didn't want to do that. My passion was financial advising. My passion was helping people. That's where I was the best version of myself. So instead of waiting around and waiting to see what was going to happen, I knew I had to make a choice. As I look back, I look at both of those situations, and I realized I didn't dwell in the sorrow. With both quakes, I immediately accepted the reality, the first skill. In each circumstance, I put together the second skill, which was I put myself on a different path. I chose to move. I don't know if it was the right direction. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew where I was not where I could stay. So I made choices and I moved. My husband and I divorced. The children and I moved into another home. And from there, my ex-husband and I co-parented, in my opinion, beautifully. We called on our parents and asked for help. Another skill. Ask for help. We asked for that support. We agreed to never speak ill of each other or speak ill of each other's families. And we ironically taught the family to be more accepting of the gay community. The result that might otherwise have never happened is that my children are extremely close to their their three grandparents, and they are blessed to still have those grandparents alive. And the extended family as well, very close to everyone. And I am also very proud to say that they are very accepting of all cultures and identities. What a gift to have come out of this lifequake of mine. As far as my career, well, after I was overlooked for that job, I got a little stick up my you-know-what. And the second day after I returned from maternity leave, I walked in and gave my notice. I was no longer going to let somebody determine when I was going to fulfill my dream. I sought out help from another advisor at the firm who was kind of a square peg in a round hole, and the two of us left and started our own business. So I was a single parent with other parental support, a 4 and a 2-year-old, and no income, and I started my own business. There was no option to fail, and I never even thought about it and never let it cross my mind. I walked out the door and I started my own thing. I have now built a business that is very well known in the community, and recently I've had several opportunities of people wanting to buy my business. But again, I'm not turning over the control. I'm going to control the destiny of my business. I have decided to partner with a wonderful financial advising firm in here in St. Louis. I had the opportunity to kind of turn over all the junk that I don't want to do anymore so that I can continue to focus on building a wonderful advising practice and doing what I love, and that is fulfilling my passion of helping clients on their financial journey. I am forever grateful every day that I did not get that job. The partnership that I've established with my firm has also freed up a lot of opportunity for me to give back to St. Louis, something I never even dreamed I would have the time to and didn't even know how to do. It's given me the opportunity to join many women's executive groups such as this, be a mentor to women that are helping, that are looking at creating their own business. I've joined other organizations where there are women that aspire to do things that I aspire to do. St. Louis is an amazing place for support for other women at all stages of their personal and professional life. So finally, I ask you to please read the rest of my chapter, which is chapter 1 in the most recent book, Living Well with Grit, and hear about how I used letting go of the past, another skill, and living your truth with my other life quakes that have also happened. Once again, I am a firm believer that you always come out better on the other side, and this most recent quake and Match.com has led me to my wonderful husband, Brian, who has fulfilled a dream of mine to have a large family because he has brought along 6 beautiful children, 10 grandchildren. So we now have 8 children, 10 grandchildren. But Brian loves me for exactly who I am, who I aspire to be, and every day he has made me a promise to sing me 2 songs, tell me 2 jokes, and tell me 2 new stories that I haven't heard before. And yes, after 7 years of being together, he still does this. He is one of the most selfless people that I know, which he has demonstrated tonight by selflessly coming out and celebrating this wonderful event for us on his very special birthday evening. So to you I say, happy birthday. I love you. I love all of our family, and I have definitely come out better on the back end.